this full moon Easter Friday for light code DNA activation. Really, really powerful day, very intense and quite possibly challenging for many in respect of staying balanced. We were just having a bit of a chat offline, and the comment was made that the energies of the moment are almost in conflict. There is there are planetary aspects that are desiring harmony and balance and wanting to actually support our alignment with that. There are other influences which are challenging that balance. So our vigilance and our attention to what is happening energetically and to the triggers is really important at this time, so that we don't allow ourselves to be triggered out of balance, that we become aware and cognizant of whatever is impacting us, that the chaos and disturbance of the moment with this full moon doesn't derail us, put it that way. So a very powerful time, and very interesting energies that we are dealing with. I would just like to acknowledge this figure that we have, this painting on the first slide today, courtesy of a beautiful artist called Laura Krusemark. And this image I felt just really epitomized the divine feminine energy that is supporting us at the moment through this week, where the divine feminine essence has been really prominent in her warrior destructive mode. But this represents the female warrior, if you like, but she who sees through and is able to begin creating out of the ashes. So we know that the divine feminine can actually be destructive. She can also be incredibly supportive and creative. So this is the energy that we want to forward. But having said that, the destructive forces of fire are sometimes absolutely necessary in order to purge and to certainly as far as seeds are concerned in Mother Nature, we know, and this has been discussed before as well, that fire is sometimes needed to burn away the outer coating of the seed so that that seed can germinate. So fire is needed in order to germinate the new seeds. And I've only just realized the beauty of that analogy with us wanting to activate the new light codes that we have been receiving over the last couple of months with the intensification of the energies, the really intense energies, because those are like seeds that have been sown within us. But the energy and the element of fire is needed in order to bring about the birthing and the opening and the germination of what has been seeded within us. So beautiful analogy. So this picture is, you can actually see, you know, sort of the shimmering diamond essence of her clothing. Laura wrote me just very recently because she's also been experiencing diamond energy in many different ways. So it's been fascinating, and that has been coming through in her artwork. So we have this beautiful light diamond over the third eye. Very, very interestingly, I was doing some work with a client either the day before or the day after she sent this image. And what I'd seen with the client was this incredible, incredible pulsing diamond over the client's third eye when I was working remotely. And then came back and actually looked at this image and went, that's just amazing. And it was shining light in all directions. So beautiful embodiment of this sort of the warrior goddess, but it's she who is determined. It's not about fighting anything. It's really about seeking out that which within ourselves requires transformation, destruction, and rebirth. So that's the real essence and the nature of warrior. If we look at the signature of today, I said to you guys as well, we have this amazing confluence of energies. And the deeper we actually move into this shifting time, the more closely aligned we find a variety of energies actually being. And you'll see how the energetic signature of today is so incredibly aligned again with the astrological influence of the moment, with the full moon energies, with everything kind of coming together. It's like there is an intensification with each specific event. each specific natural cycle that we move through at the moment. It's like the intensity is actually building over and over. So what we have is the yellow resonant warrior, which is Kin 176, which is actually my galactic birthday. This is my energetic signature. It is the signature on which I was born. This was the day on which I was born in 1961, the yellow resonant warrior. So the is guided, if you like, or falls under the overtone of 7, the lunar tone of 7. So that actually has specific meaning. 7 has particular meaning. This glyph in the center, that is the warrior. It's also known as the ferryman. It's the one who guides. This is the yellow star. This is the world bridger. This represents the night and the unconscious, the darkness. And this is the serpent. And the serpent is the support, or the unconscious support, representing the earth and earthly energy. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of the interpretation of that in a moment, which is really interesting. But the essence of it is I channel in order to question. That's something that's a signature of mine. I question everything. Inspiring fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided, this is the guide, by the power of elegance. I am a galactic activation portal into me. So there are a couple of keywords here that you'll see carried through in the full moon Sabian symbol for the moment, and that is intelligence, fearlessness, confidence, and questioning without fear. So Elaine says here in the chat room, sorry, I had an interdimensional experience driving to my son's on Monday. A car in the far left lane of a 4 to 5 lane freeway hit the cement barrier to prevent cars from going into oncoming traffic. Miraculously, it stayed in its lane after flipping around several times, and was less than a car length away from me in the adjacent lane. Wow. I had been saying benevolent prayers and sending diamond light up and down highways and roads the entire journey. And then at the last 15 minutes, it felt like I stopped time and motion to slow down the effects of the crash and prevent anyone else from being involved, including the man being killed in the car that hit the cement. Wow. That is really quite amazing. Our diamond light intentions create a force field that showed itself very strongly this way. Beautiful, Elaine. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, the force field of the diamond is gaining in strength, because there are more and more people contacting me just saying, yeah, please, can you explain? I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing that. And people now, rather than me actually telling them, are beginning to have their own experiences in such amazing ways, like this, Elaine, like you experienced the strength of that force field. The diamond force field, in respect of the planetary grids, is actually building. So thank you so much for sharing that, Elaine. That's a really powerful and wonderful insight, and something that we can all remember and take away from this, take away with us. So yeah, it's amazing. We're happy that you're here and happy that all is well and that nobody was hurt. Get massive chills just hearing you repeat it now. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Unsettled for hours. Absolutely, it takes a while to regain center. Okay, so let me give you a different interpretation that I found. So it's on an alternate website. I've got 2 slides for this one in respect of this particular energetic signature. So this was really powerful. Today's energy invites the warrior to channel fearless intelligence to inspire the courage of maintaining harmony in our relationships with others. And what was I just saying? You know, that the Sabian full moon symbol and the whole essence of the moon is about being disturbed and this conflict in respect of wanting to harmonize and balance on the one hand and wanting everything like churned up and disturbed on the other. So it takes a lot of strength and courage to actually maintain the balance and hold that harmony. In light of that. So it's bringing our love into the stars, into the sparkly resonance of creative beauty. So it's seeing and always being able to recognize the beauty no matter what the circumstances. And that's a challenge, you know, very often in today's world. So today is supported by the resonant night, guided by the eagle, inspiring the dream vision that the earth channels through us, through our intuition. What it is to be telepathically connected in the collective harmonic grid of our planet as one big earth family. So it is also about connecting in with that organic living internet through the living diamond grid that we are a part of, through that living force field that each of us creates and amplifies and brings into being. So today's challenge that strengthens is the resonant world bridger guided by the mirror to surrender to connecting with a wider and wider matrix of family. This is being of service. To expand our boundaries of who we consider to be our family, to expand into more and more of the source family. So this is also challenging our identities. And this is really interesting because in the build up to today, I did the Alara Canfield show just over, it's probably about 10 days ago, just over a week ago. And the process that I used was about dismantling the scaffolding which has held us up and that represents all of the ways in which we have been identified and attached within this matrix so that we can extend our real self, our source self, and allow that to permeate the world. So I was working on the scaffolding and actually dissolving everything that had held up the old identities. And then we get, this week, we get the burning down of the Notre Dame, which actually represents something which had upheld an identification, a global identification with the patriarchy and the masculine. And then today, this is what the signature is too. So it's a continuation. It's just this organic unfolding, which is so beautiful when I witness it and see all the synchronicities leading up to this a convergence point, a specific convergence point, which is what today is. Today's hidden gift is resonant serpent, guided by the earth, inspiring the change that enlivens our raw instinctual connection with the earth, channeling the Kundalini energy. She is the fire of the divine feminine. From the heart of our Mother Gaia in order to allow ourselves to feel the changes that we're all experiencing as one great body of consciousness. Gaia has no filters. It is just up to us to allow our body to be the pure vessel of consciousness that it is in order for us to feel and be inspired by the changes that are happening, whether we allow ourselves to feel them or not. So we surrender to the process, to the force, to the upwelling, to the fire. Let us open our hearts fearlessly today and be fully inspired and inspiring with our greater heart family in honoring of our great mother. So here we have this honoring of the ultimate divine mother, the ultimate feminine, who both is a destructive and a creative force. So Elaine has just said here, I have a feeling that my diamond light brothers and sisters, i.e. you guys especially, were energetically there with me during the event, or the accident, in the diamond net force field when I instantaneously manifested the protective field for the car accident. There was no fear. Ah, wonderful, wonderful, Elaine. That's the warrior. That's the warrior. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so, so much. I mean, the synchronicity of this is absolutely amazing because I think that's the kind of thing that we can call on, that we know that we have access to. That interconnected field that is becoming stronger and stronger through any circumstances in our lives. So thank you for sharing that. Now, here's a different interpretation that I actually found that was hugely significant. This was translated from a German website. And I just enjoyed the wording and something else that was realized as a consequence of just having a little bit of investigating and questioning. So ever the questioner. So this woman says, and I'm sorry I don't have the link here. We have today a galactic activation portal, a gift of intuition and sensitivity by the seventh overtone. This is an occupation of the core, brings us back to the core, to the center and the connection that nourishes our inspiration directly from the source. Now think about this 7. We have 6 axes, 6 nodes that make up the structure of an octahedron. The 7th one is actually at the center. It is that which aligns with the sacred bone at the very tailbone, at the base of our spine. So the 7th one, the 7th overtone, that number 7, is the connecting point to the sacred bone, the holy bone at the base of the spine. So it is the Holy One and our connection both with the source, with the Kundalini energy of the earth, and the point through which we actually receive and embody and ground the cosmic inputs and the intuition that we receive. So she goes on to say, with today's quality energy and special feature is available, Kin 176 forms one of the 13 kins that are engraved in the plate of the tomb of Pakal Votan, who is the deity of the Maya, who was revered, and it was like his return that signals the transitioning of the Mayan calendar, this change over into a new era. And this is interesting because the comment is it points to specific interfaces of the end time. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that Kin 176 was one of the 13 seals on his tomb, on the tomb of, I think it's Pakal Votan, actually, with a P, not a C. But that it is one of the ones that signifies this interface between eons of time. So it's amazing. You know, it's just follow the question. To me, that's what it is. It's just follow the question. Hear it and follow it. On the 3-dimensional plane of the yellow warrior, the yellow warrior learns to show his true colors. Its mission is to invite the intelligence into the heart and not to keep it in the mind. And that's following the question. It's like, yes, there's something here that I actually need to know. Let it rest and let the heart be the guide and follow where that actually takes, that intuitive impulse takes you. The yellow warrior in his power is fearless and confident. Sib, the yellow warrior, is also clarity and the structure giving energy. And this fascinated me because what do we say about the diamond? What is it that the diamond brings us? It brings us the structure and the form for the embodiment of the new essence and energy, for the new time, the new era, the 9th wave. And one of the qualities, the supreme qualities of the diamond is clarity. So this I've really found quite fascinating. It's almost like it was etched into my soul that this was the work that I was going to need to do by following those questions, by allowing divine intelligence to descend into my heart and let that be the guide to bring this into being. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because that's an indication of, you know, sort of how that big picture becomes much, much clearer when we follow those signals and signs. And so very special day. So that's the essence of what we have available today, is the opportunity to establish, reaffirm and strengthen with confidence the infrastructure, our intuitive connection, the inspiration to be inspired, and to listen and to hear and to follow the intelligence of the heart. Okay, so I just love this because we're talking about DNA activations today, and this was all in gold, you know, just this spiraling DNA strand in gold with the dolphins, and it just speaks about freedom, like looking from an eagle's view. Yes, I want you to just be able to envision and envisage, because we're working with the DNA strands in the process today. And as many of you will know, I am not an advocate of multiple DNA strands, because the truth of it is that this particular form and formation gives rise to the diamond through its very intricate spiraling, and the DNA itself is a living molecule. All of our molecules are living molecules, but this is a living embodiment of light that is completely mobile, that can form and reform and reconfigure itself to be able to produce whatever molecules are needed and necessary. We do not need additional strands to be able to do that. We just need to awaken the strands that we have to the cosmic light and language to allow our DNA to flow with the golden light of cosmic intelligence. And of cosmic fuel. So we don't need any strands. And anybody that says the scientific proof that there are extra strands is also talking absolute nonsense, because it is not. They are talking the wrong thing. The original article that was taken from was not written by a scientist at all. It was written by somebody who propagates the New Age beliefs. So yes, you guys know I'm not a proponent of that in any way, shape, or form, but I love this image and this depiction. And the dolphins speak of freedom and playfulness when the golden energy of our core essence, and that is key because we're talking, accessing our core today, of our core essence moves unhindered through all of our DNA molecules. So it's the freedom, the playfulness, the joy, the love, the strength, and the light that we are then able to embody and emit through those very molecules in our body. Okay, so what I've got, so without going into too much stuff, I've just got another little bit of information for you, which I found rather fascinating. So I was looking at the astrology. Today's moon is actually called a pink moon. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it and see what color it actually rises this evening once the sun sets. But what I discovered was some astrologers work with what are known as the Sabian symbols for the various aspects of the zodiac. So this particular full moon falls under, so each Sabian symbol, if you like, is symbolic of a degree of the zodiac. So each full moon, each particular confluence aligns with a specific Sabian symbol. So today's full moon Sabian symbol, oh, that's wonderful, Rachel. I actually missed it. I saw it was very, very bright, but it wasn't pink last night. So the Sabian symbol for the moment is 3 mounds of knowledge. This is for today. On a philosopher's head. 3 mounds of knowledge on a philosopher's head. So the keynote attributes of this are the fulfillment of man's power of understanding at whatever level of existence the person operates at. A true philosopher is a man or a person, just read that as gender neutral, who is able to understand, not merely know, the processes of life as he comes to experience them directly. He is the man of wisdom, and that is the difference. It's the knowing and the experience becomes an understanding and becomes wisdom. Different indeed from the man of science, for while there must be knowledge before understanding, knowledge alone can be both barren and destructive of wisdom. And this is where we're talking about intelligence of the heart and not of the mind. This peculiar symbol refers, of course, to phrenology, which is usually considered a pseudoscience but may provide significant indications. Number 3, which in 3 mounds of knowledge, always indicates a state of completion. The symbol implies a fulfillment of philosophical understanding, which obviously has nothing to do with academic degrees or the writing of successful treatises on abstract concepts. Understanding and wisdom develop in terms of the life of community and through experiences provided by interpersonal and group relationships. Cultural factors are always involved, even though true wisdom transcends these values and is rooted in the essential nature of man. What is at stake here is a holistic approach to knowledge based on universals. Today is a highly energized day, and things are not calming down anytime soon. Be aware of wild cards and temper your responses. Pay attention to what information comes your way and think through, and I would also alter those words to find out what you must release on this full moon. Not only think through, allow your mind to permeate, but bring that into your heart so that your heart and your intuitive self can discern and begin to embody the wisdom oh, excuse me, of what it is that is being absorbed and given so that you know what to discard and what to hold onto. So, what becomes an aspect of your true philosophical understanding and knowing. So, I hope that makes sense. It was just really interesting because it was again talking about intelligence and knowledge versus wisdom, and being able to connect that with the heart. So, I just need to have a little drink. Oh, that's lovely, Elaine. That's really beautiful. Elaine says, my 5-year-old granddaughter commented while watching the Spider-Man movie, which addressed multi-dimensional interfaces. She said, you have to believe in yourself, but from your heart. And she touched her heart with her hand, and looked at me with such knowing. The children's star seeds are absolutely amazing. Really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so again, we have the parallels and the energetics of the full moon aligned with the Mayan day's signature. So lots of confluences actually supporting us. And let's not forget as well at the moment that the theme of today is sacrifice. It is, and it is the patriarchy that actually sacrificed ultimately the teachings of the divine feminine upon the structure of the cross. So at the moment, what we are doing is we are undergoing a sacrifice in reverse. So we are sacrificing all of the attachments that we actually have to the old patriarchal system, which has been alive for so long, so that we and the divine feminine may be resurrected in full glory. So there's this real theme of sacrifice, resurrection back to the truth of the original teachings, back to the understanding, back to the wisdom of the true source teachings and that which lives in our hearts. So yeah, going full circle to that. Now, some of you may have seen this particular image before, and this is a stained glass window at Rosslyn Chapel, in the basement of Rosslyn Chapel. And this is on my to-do list at some stage, is to actually visit Rosslyn Chapel. And this is really interesting because it is a picture of the Christ with his arms outstretched. And of course, what do you see behind him but 2 golden diamonds? So it's kind of like the wisdom that he represents in his resurrected form is embodied and made manifest through the new and the newly informed structure of the diamond essence and energy. So Rachel says here, I tried to write earlier, but I kept getting signal that I'm feeling very neutral and detached from everything that is going on outside of my personal life. Very interesting. Yes, yeah, so there is this absolute detachment. So Elaine says, I prefer your word surrender, Julie, versus sacrifice, which triggers multiple previous indoctrinations. Yeah, well, it's interesting, Elaine, and I think that's where we also perhaps need to examine where that continues to trigger us. Because to me, I think it used to trigger me, the word sacrifice. And yes, I understand absolutely what you're saying. Sacrifice and surrender. What are we prepared to sacrifice upon the altar of our own growth and resurrection? In and sacrifice requires, in fact, surrender to the process. So they're not even exactly one and the same thing. So it's surrender is giving up so that we can be reborn. To sacrifice really almost asks us to quantify what it is that we're surrendering, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter, it's all semantics. So yes, if you prefer the term surrender, which is something that I use often, as you guys would know. Yeah, absolutely. Connect with it in whichever way is appropriate. So I love this image of the, again, it's another DNA image of a molecule, an aspect of our being that is just infused with so much light. And to understand, so some of you might not have seen the relationship here. It's to understand that the DNA molecule itself, what I was told in the very beginning of the diamond work, is that the DNA molecule itself projects the diamond grid as a holographic form into being. And I never understood it. So here we have the spiraling molecule, and you kind of go, well, where are the diamonds? And if you take a cross section through a DNA molecule, you actually find in X-ray crystallography that this is the shape that is created. These are the strands that crisscross each other, and behind them, projected as a consequence of the light of the X-rays, is a diamond. So at each turn of the DNA molecule, you effectively have a diamond that is projected holographically as a light form by very virtue of the spiraling of the strands. So there is an intricate relationship between the DNA strand, the diamond, and bringing that form to life. So the other thing which was really, really interesting that I found today was that you see how the spiraling strands in cross section look like an X. Was that one of the interpretations, and I just didn't want to overload you with too much information, but I want to share this with you, is that one of the interpretations of the Mayan day listed the rune for today as being the rune that actually looks like an X, which also is a figure 10. Well, it represents the number 10 in Roman numerology, which is new beginnings. It is also associated with the Christ figure. It was a hidden symbol that was actually utilized by the Christ, and we can almost see a hidden cross, figure 10, sort of within the overlapping diamonds behind it. So some very, very interesting correspondences, if you like, all falling in line with today. So we've got some comments in the chat room. So Rachel says, I'm noticing people coming in that are in different ways telling me that I am not visible enough and giving me advice on business so that I can attract clients. What I'm seeing is that these experiences are showing me who I am not rather than who I should be. Beautiful, Rachel. Yes, we learn about who we are by understanding who we are not. I also find that almost quite tiresome, that old model of business and clients. It almost seems to be defunct in respect of where we are moving and what is happening in the current energies. So that's very interesting. Absolutely. Elaine says, and you probably feel detached when they present that to you. Yeah, it's you know, it's those old business models. Follow this model and make 6 figures of income. You kind of go, it's just a very, very interesting perspective. Yeah, Elaine says not visible enough. You literally are not visible because your vibration is higher. Absolutely, absolutely. So here we are. So what we seek to resurrect and to align with and to oscillate with is the Christ consciousness within our being. And that's why there is a strong confluence of energies in connection with the Christ consciousness of this day. So it literally is a surrender. So it's the Christ consciousness and the divine feminine that we. That's interesting. Rachel says 10 is interesting to me. I had an incredible experience with that. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Yeah, so it's the 10, it's the 1, and of course we know that 111 is the number of the diamond. So lots of symbolism, lots of little things. That connect in with this. It's just okay. Too much to type. You'll have to message me afterwards. What we attract to as and align with is the true Christ consciousness and the diamond net. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so the light code. I've chosen a light code to work with for the process today, for the journey, for the activation, and the light code. I think it's been quite some time since we've worked with this one. Is called insight. And of course, insight is linked with the aspects of questioning, with intelligence, with the heart's knowingness, with our intuition, with that concept of clarity, with the courage to actually ask the questions and to not sort of close down, damp down, and be quiet, which is what we've been taught to do for most of our lives. So there's a lot of, again, symbolic connectivity with this particular code. And it is about being able to distill whatever information and intelligence is appropriate for us to awaken and activate, that is an aspect of those seeds that are germinating and coming alive within us. So there's a lot that's actually come in. There is a distilling of all of those nutrients into one small tiny seed, and it is this seed that actually then explodes with us as it opens up and re-disseminates the information that it's actually holding. So it's all the information that's come in, all of the codes that have come in, the seed that has actually been germinating, restructuring, reconfiguring so that that can all be re-released through the diamond. As is always with these codes, they come alive, they work at multiple levels, and it's a push and a pull. It's an inner and an outer. There are always multidimensional aspects to understanding the codes. So Bonnie says sacrifice would be the word, as today is Black Friday. Oh my goodness. And surrender so makes much sense. Interesting. All of the signs astrologically that align. Great information. Thank you, Julie. Elaine, amazing. I couldn't type before. Oh, okay. Wonderful, Bunny. Thank you so much for sharing that, because there's, yeah, a lot of synchronicities. And it also, I must just tell you, I don't have a slide for it, but I had a quick look at the process of the sine wave of the ninth wave at the moment, and we are at we're still at a peak. We're at the 12th day of the upward cycle, meaning the day cycle of the ninth wave. So it is a time of activating great change, but we need to be discerning about the actions that we take and be very aware of the triggers and the and the potential distortions, disturbances, and chaos, if that makes sense, so that we know exactly and we have clarity on the steps that need to be taken. So we are on the daylight side of the ninth wave. So we know that when the ninth wave is on its up cycle, that is a time to be of service, to take action in the world. When it hits the downward cycle, then that is a time for personal healing, for reconfiguration and restructuring. So it's going to be another 6 days, I think, because it's a 36-day cycle, and we're on day 12 of the upward cycle. So it's another 6 days before we hit the lower curve and we go back into a healing cycle. It's well worth keeping your eye on. So there's a lot of action-orientated energy at the moment. It's just being discerning about how we undertake that action. So does that make sense, everybody? I'm sure you get a feeling for just the important value of the energetics of the moment and how important it is. I can actually just feel a really intense vibration before we go into the process. Elaine, interestingly, I slept so well last night. It was like my Cancer moonchild energy was embraced in the pink full moon. Beautiful. Well, isn't that absolutely wonderful? Just being embraced. So I would encourage you to perhaps have a look at some of the full moon astrological insights and information if you want to sort of expand your understanding of the current energies. But for the moment, this is what we are doing. We are going to activate some of the intelligence that we have been carrying the seeds within, the intelligence of the internal encodings that have been delivered through through the eclipses and the previous significant events in the first 3 months of this year. So we are holding those within our body. We now want to realize and recognize the insights as those seeds germinate. So we're going to crack open the seed forms of those light codes and activate them with. And we're going to use the Insight Light Code to support us. So I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we go into that? Do you know, sometimes I can't believe how long it takes to go through this information. I think, oh, I'll trim it down. I won't put that in, and I won't put that in, because there's always loads of stuff that I find, and suddenly realize that it takes, sort of 45 minutes. Sorry, that was just me with my water bottle. Elaine says we pull it out of you. You do, absolutely, absolutely. So I hope you're all aligned and ready to surrender to the process. That is to rest into the process, to go where it flows and where it needs to go. Allow your intuition to guide you. Thank you, Jill. Jill says, yes, great information. Thank you. Just loving it all. Yeah, it's absolutely, it fascinates me every time, I am pointed in the direction of a specific energetic day to see how it all pulls together. You guys know, and it just is, I go, wow, that's just amazing. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for taking us there. So if you are ready, let's go on a journey together. Let's have an adventure. Let's awaken yet more of what we hold within. I have 2 dogs barking in 2 rooms down, so I hope you can't hear them. I hope they're not going to disturb. Can you hear them at all? No. Oh, good. Okay, that's great. That's one of those disturbances because they set each other off. And they are howling and going mad 2 doors down. So I am just going to surrender into the flow and send them some energy to calm them down. Okay, so if you'd like to, yeah, full moon howling. If you would like to just make sure that you are comfortable, rest to the chair or the surface on which you're sitting. Hopefully the sound is okay and the volume is maintained, and take a deep breath in and out. And another deep breath in and out. As you surrender your being to the ultimate guidance of the Divine Mother, of the Divine Feminine. Surrender all expectations of the outcomes. Surrender all attachments, identifications to the external world at this moment in time. As you simply drop the filters that are in place and allow your essence and your beingness to connect with the great spirit of our mother, of the planet, of the cosmic mother. Just be aware of her energy surrounding you, almost like tendrils of love on this day of the pink full moon. The calm, soothing essence and energy of the Divine Mother. The beauty and the love that encourage you to surrender ever more deeply to the flow, to the process, to the very movement of life itself. being breathed through you. For in the very act of surrender, it is almost as if the Divine Mother takes over your breathing and breathes you in and out with her ultimate love. She breathes you into creation in each moment. And on each out breath, there is a release or a sacrifice, if you like, a letting go of all of the attachments, ancient and new, to the forms and structures of the 3D world. So that with each breath of the Divine Mother connecting to you, breathing through you, you are breathed anew. Her breath filling the spaces that have been left by the releasing. And with each breath you are filled with pixels and sparks of diamond light. For she holds the very essence of the ultimate frequencies of diamond light. She holds the language of multiple dimensions, of codes, encodings, of light codes. And with her breath, she knows exactly what will be activated within and through you and when. All she asks of you is that you surrender with divine patience and trust and knowingness to the flow of the process itself. Your being and your body feels almost as if it's dissolving. As your diamond fabric takes form and shape, breathed through you, enlivened from the very base of your spine, breathed up from this point to your soul star, down from this point to your earth star, creating that central core column of light. There is nothing that you need to do other than allow yourself, your diamond, to be brought into manifestation. On the diamond sparked breath of the Divine Mother. The sparkles of light fuse the molecules of your body, informing them all of their ultimate origin, purpose, reason for being. The grid in its fractal patterning begins to form from the inside out, from the very core of your being. Threading out like living fibers of light, so that you look at yourself and all you see is an interconnected, woven network of diamonds, building in intensity as your grid itself grows, expands, and enlivens. And fueled now by the breath of the Divine Mother and of the earth, you are guided along a well-worn pathway. Take a look around at your environment as you walk. Your body seems to know where it's going, each foot landing effortlessly in front of another. Effortless effort. You are being walked. You are being guided by the life, blood, and breath of the Source herself. And along the pathway, as you look down at your feet, you see sparks and diamonds of light embedded into the pebbles and the pathway, each one strengthening your own light essence and light beingness as you tread. And you look out, and beyond the path there are trees and fields, grass, clouds, and sky. Everything appears to be encrusted, infused by sparkles of brilliant, brilliant light, diamond light. This is a diamond landscape like no other. And your body continues to be guided along the path until around a bend you come to the entrance of a cave. And this cave itself is structured almost as if hewn out of clear, sparkling crystal, pure diamond. You reach out to touch the smooth sides of this light-filled cave. And as you do, you notice that the sparks of light emanating from your own being reflect back off the walls of this cave, creating its own light, for you are the light source reflected back at yourself through the diamond walls of the cave. You enter the cave without hesitation and with great joy. Fueled forward by the fiery breath of the Divine Mother, for within each diamond spark is a source of alchemy, the alchemical fire of life itself that seeks to transform and create what emerges from the cauldron of the ultimate divine feminine, are the fires of destruction and creation. And those are contained in every single particle, every single spark of diamond light. You carry with you the fire that has the capacity to destroy the unneeded and to create and birth. And as you walk deeper into the cave, your light enlivens and lights up the passageway, bouncing off the walls and through the walls in layers of beautiful iridescent colors, full rainbows of light including colors never before experienced. For the full spectrum of our inner light has yet to be seen and known and experienced in the totality of its glory. There is fear, there is only love and trust and beingness. And you walk and wander through the caves, these diamond caves, following and being drawn by a deep, humming, pulsing sound, deeper into the system. Guided as if by magic, you follow the sound. It echoes throughout the diamond walls, amplified along with the light. And you come across an inner cavern deep within the earth. The entire cavern is alit with the brilliance of multiple diamond beings encircled around. They are the many manifestations and faces of the Divine Mother, of the Divine Goddess, of the ultimate feminine force. They circle around a solid diamond altar at the center of the cavern. And it is from this altar that the throbbing, pulsing sound from the earth itself is being emitted, drawing you forward. And from the encircling group of feminine manifestations of diamond beingness, one steps forward to connect with you and guide you towards the altar. Stop for a moment as you gaze into her eyes, acknowledging and honoring this manifestation, this holographic projection from the divine source, the beauty, the love, the elegance, the courage, the fearlessness that she embodies and that she brings, whatever specific quality it is that you seek at this moment, whether it is an increase in sensitivity, an increase in intuition, whether it is courage or confidence, whether it is fearlessness, whether it is knowledge, wisdom, truth, or all of the above. She brings that to you. And emanates it from her very beingness. And you can absorb these qualities just by osmosis, by connecting your diamond to hers within this amazing space. And it's as if there is a brilliant beam of light that is created the minute your diamonds merge. It shoots through your entire being and through your diamond, infusing the fibers and the entire matrix that is yours with the gifts that she embodies. She smiles and then guides you with love towards the diamond altar. And you notice as you approach that the altar itself has the insight light code engraved upon it, pulsing with living light, emitted from the very source within the earth, brought alive, sparkling with the various colors and hues of what it represents. living information, living light. And you are invited and guided to lie down upon the altar. And as you do, it's almost as if everything else fades away. You experience the pulsing, the humming, the supreme high frequency of energy that is flowing through this code, this living code of light, as it literally becomes you. It infuses your being. All the filters that are left or remaining drop away as you surrender to the embrace of this living energy, this advanced consciousness. Be aware of the heat within your body as the fires inside each of those diamonds that make up your being are ignited. For there is an alchemy that is now taking place within you. Your DNA begins to pulse and align with the very center of the code. It's as if the DNA in all of the cells of your body lines up, overlaying the entire fabric of your being and along the center of the code. And the code's essence and intelligence, the insights begin to infuse your DNA strands. And as this happens, just spend some time in this protected, safe environment to notice where and how your DNA begins to open up its gateways or portals to allow the information from the code to infuse its infrastructure, becoming mobile, reconfiguring itself, almost like pops, like gates being thrown open, popped open. There are powerful surges of energy moving through you. As your DNA coils and uncoils, opening and closing, shifting and reconfiguring itself, activated by the fractal manifestations of this diamond light code. And each time a gateway opens, it reveals the brilliance of the light that has been held or enclosed within that space within your DNA. And the light is switched on. It's like the seed coat being blown or burned off, and the light infusing your DNA strands. The new light, the new information of encodings received, releasing and bringing into conscious awareness insights that are relevant to your creative endeavors, your manifestation of being, the path that you walk through life, whatever it is that you desire insight into, the release of the new codes brings it to you. I'm going to leave you in that space for a few moments upon this altar and allow the insight light code to continue opening and releasing those seed packets within your very genetic physical makeup. And you now become aware of a writhing energetic form moving from deep within the bowels of the earth up through diamond corridors, pipes of light. Up she travels. It is the serpent, the dragon, the manifestation of this writhing fire of life itself. And she moves up from deep within the earth, breathing fire through the diamond, the indestructible eternal nature of the diamond beingness. And the heat supports the crystallization and the recrystallization of your physical form in new configurations, aligned more fully with your diamond multidimensional beingness. The altar is hot and warm beneath your body, and yet cool at the same time, if it's possible to feel cool fire. For the flames are violet, and they are breathed with love. You are bathed in this place in a violet glow that now simply dissolves. More of the old patterning, of the patriarchal system, of the embodiments of the masculine within each of us, each of you. Transmuted simply within the flames of the divine feminine, of the divine mother, so that the new seed forms can germinate and grow in its place. The seed forms of the divine masculine, a worthy partner for the emerging divine feminine. And some of the new codes carry with them and through and embed into your body the knowingness of the newly birthed divine masculine energy, even as the old is burned away. Let all that is brought into form through this holy time bear the hallmark of a new strength, a new courage that allows for the creative birth of the ultimate unity wave, the ultimate paradise grids of the planet. Be aware of this shifting and joining and reconfiguring within you. And you are only vaguely aware of the attentiveness of the manifestations of the divine feminine within the cave. And you now look, and some of these faces are morphing in and out, taking on board the light and the life of the rebirthing of the divine masculine through this time as it is resurrected within us. The beings are almost androgynous. One moment you look, and what you are sure was feminine now appears to be masculine, but shining with golden light. These liquid light beings represent the ultimate unification and intelligence and courage of sex feminine and masculine in ultimate unity and balance and harmony. Allow your body a few moments to adjust to that awakening force within you, the balancing forces of feminine and masculine within you. Being aware of the rebalancing within your DNA as it begins to slow down its oscillation to a normal rate that will allow for the solidification of your physical form in its new configurations. And a hand reaches out to guide you and support you off the crystal table, and you arise tall, strong, renewed, rebalanced, awakened, knowing that the insights that you require to guide your movements forward through life are contained within you. Being birthed through the germination of the new diamond codes, the releasing of these living codes within your body. And you thank each one of the beings that has played a role in this process as you look around and everything that is emanating through the diamond walls and altar now appears to simply be gold with streaks flashing through it, all embracing gold. You bow in gratitude for the support of Source itself as you turn to leave the cave. You're provided with a golden cloak, shimmering, encrusted with diamonds. And with each step, your body becomes more solid. As you emerge from the cave, renewed, balanced, strong. Your eternal self infusing every cell of your body. And as you walk back along the well-worn pathway, everything around you turns to and is infused with the hues of gold, golden diamonds. As you become more and more solid, breathed back into beingness in physical form, reconfigured, renewed, revitalized, infused, and informed. And with a deep breath, you now become aware of your 3D surroundings in this physical realm. For you are a walker between worlds. You hold and carry the golden cloak of your eternal nature and your connection to Source, even while you walk through the 3D realm, being in the world but not of the world, for you are of the eternal. You are of the Divine Mother. You are a manifestation of Source. You are a world bridger, birthing the new, the ninth wave, the paradise age, with every step that you take. Devoid of drama, devoid of triggers. You now take a deep breath in, for that golden essence infuses and informs each one of your previous filters, so that everything that you encounter is filtered through the truth, the golden truth, the diamond truth of Source itself. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out as you once more become aware of your body, of the surface, of the chair, of the walls of the room, of the birds, the sounds outside, of the amazing nature of life itself. And return. And deep breath in and out. So Jill unfortunately had to leave us. Are you back? You here with us? Elaine says they beamed me back in my car. Was that during the process, Elaine? after the praying mantis ET beings finished reconfiguring me on the crystal altar table, like the one in the movie The Fifth Element. Oh, God. I'll have to go back and have a look at that. That's interesting. Feel better inside. Came back early in the last 10 minutes. Oh, that's interesting, Elaine. So it's probably reconfiguring the shock that you experienced. That's very interesting because, when we go through any kind of trauma like that, we experience shock and it really does adjust our energy fields. It alters our energy field. So it sounds to me as if you've been supported in having that reconfigured. That's very interesting. I could just see, let me tell you what I was seeing with that was I literally like little balls of light and information in the DNA molecules popping, literally being blown open so that the light that was contained within them was just like spreading through the DNA. It was just like, yeah, gates being blown open. So, Marilyn, I'm so glad you managed to stay with us for the process. Thank you. Such a beautiful experience. Deep appreciation. Well, you will have this. The recording will go out. So you will have it to redo. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Have a wonderful, wonderful day further with your grandson. Have a blessed day. How are the rest of you doing? You go back to that slide. So I wonder if that's like it's a bit like what I was actually seeing. But these nodules like popping open. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Natalie said, so many ET beings. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting, and I'll tell you why in a moment. It was as if I knew them and had a place in the circle as I ran right up and greeted everyone. So many sensations of fire and then chills. I had exactly the same. I felt everything go cold, but and cool, but intense heat initially. Much needed clarity on a recurring dream I have been having. Love, feeling very balanced and full. Oh, that's beautiful, Natalie. Thank you so, so much for sharing that. And the fact that both of you experienced ET beings is really interesting because about a week ago, and I think I wrote it in the note that I actually sent to the Golden Diamond community members, was I was aware of these multitudes of other dimensional beings, literally light beings, call them whatever you want, of beings from other dimensions, almost like hordes of them, massing for this particular event, for this weekend, not just for us, but for everybody that is actually engaging in events over this particular weekend. So there was a huge number of ET beings and light beings who were participating, who were gathering. That's the only way I can describe it. So that's really interesting. So Elaine says, yes, it was a shock, the accident at the time. Make me ponder about why I'm arriving at accident sites, prefer to avoid them. Yeah, even though I know I'm protected. Yes. I experienced the ET praying mantis healing beings in a previous diamond meditation. We did actually, I think, work specifically with the ET mantids in a previous meditation because they tend to be the healers, the doctors, so the medical experts, if you like. So it's interesting that they're the ones that actually showed up for you, Elaine, especially with the fact that you've got, sort of medical issues and that we were doing DNA work. Specific to repairing DNA, yes. Bonnie says, quite the experience. The first opening, there was a large clap of thunder. Oh my, wasn't that interesting? The cat jumped on my stomach twice, both in opening times. During the process, several large claps of thunder, almost like a confirmation of things being opened. Yes, other beings there also. Seems a lot going on the global level. Nice to know we have support with all that's going on in the outside world. Oh, that's an interesting comment. Yes, that maybe they were all amassing as well because these events that have been taking place on the physical level, it's like us knowing that we have their support. That's really interesting. Bonnie, thank you for that. And that, yeah, that popping where you were getting a clap of thunder at the time, that's almost like what I was seeing was these openings, these seeds being blown, literally blown open. So that doesn't surprise me that that happened in synchronization with it. It was really interesting. So Rachel said, that was wonderful. Thank you. I had a shooting pain in my left foot. Ooh, lots of pressure in my head. Saw a medieval village with lines of energy going up and down. I was helped down off the altar by an Egyptian character. Wow, with the head of a wolf or a dog. Not sure what that represented. There seemed to be many different beings from many different time periods. Yes, I saw that too with the morphing. Spontaneously did some hand gestured light language and teeth are buzzing. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, fascinating. It just seemed there was an incredible amount going on there. Well, what's also interesting, Rachel, you a character with the head of a wolf or a dog. So, of course, immediately I think of Anubis. However, the wave spell at the moment is the white dog wave spell that we are in. So that's the wave spell signature of the 13 days. We're in the 7th day. So it's the exact center of the 13-day wave spell, which is the dog. And that's about unconditional, total unconditional love, loyalty, acceptance, friendships, communion, and connectivity. So very, very interesting. Morphing happening a lot. Yes, there's morphing in and out. There's interdimensional overlays in a sense. Elaine was also in Egypt on the altar, like the time period of the movie The Fifth Element. I'll have to go back and watch that. Morphing. I don't usually relate to Egypt. No, I don't either. Also heard the name Horus in relation to the wolf being. Well, I also never really had specific connections with Egypt, but the symbolism of it all is exceptionally interesting because Horus is also a representation of the diamond. And there's a long story around that. So it's not your traditional Egyptian interpretation, but Horus represents the trinitization. So he is the representation or the manifestation of the diamond is through Horus. And Horus represents the hawk, which is seeing bigger vision, the hawk or the eagle. So it's very interesting also that we had the eagle as an animal when we looked at the Mayan signature for today. So Marilyn says, a few weeks ago, lots of synchronicities here. A few weeks ago, I was almost in an accident from which no one could have survived. Wow. I was not driving and it was here on over before we knew it. So there was no ability to consciously have done anything. We knew that we had been protected. Wow, Marilyn, especially in light of, sort of all of the history. That is so beautiful and fascinating. Very unsettling. And for the rest of the day, I had the sense that I had been given the gift to remain in this life a longer time. Absolutely. That's the feeling that I get immediately. You talking about that, it's like saying you are meant to still be here because there is work that we are all doing through this very, very unsettled time. So we're experiencing things that are unsettling. The energies themselves are very unsettled. So yes, Horus and diamonds, there is a link. Elaine, yes, Marilyn, we are the protection, we are the power, we are here. Your presence is power. I had a golden Egyptian headdress above my head as I sat up from the altar. Wow, wow, that's just amazing, all of these Egyptian links. So cool. I had a sense when I was seeing the golden cloak at the end when that was being put on, that the headdress was almost Egyptian. And it was almost like modern day bishops' hats. And those were derived from some of those ancient Egyptian headdress. So that's what I was actually seeing from the back, was this like long golden cape or cloak with this headdress as well that was like part Egyptian, part bishop. if you like. So I think there's some very, very interesting. Oh, I've just got such chills. Is that what you saw? Wow, Natalie, that's exactly what I saw too. So to me, it really does represent an infusion and a reconfiguration of all of that patriarchy. The gold only showed itself in the atomic particles of our being. Wow, that's fascinating. Well, I think there could be some very interesting insights emerging from the unlocking that's taken place within over the next couple of days, certainly between now and Monday, because Monday is what we would actually call the resurrection. I'm going to stop the recording, and we carry on chatting here once I've actually stopped it. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for formally being here for the process. We can carry on in the chat room. Love you all, and look forward to the next opportunity to get together. And yeah, I look forward to any insights and feedback that anybody may have as this unfolds from here on. With lots of love, and have a blessed Holy Weekend.